Hello, hello, everyone. It is Brenda here for Stamplicity, and welcome to What's Up Wednesday. All right, this evening, in honor of all the fathers and dads out there, I thought we would do some kind of a fun live tonight, focusing on the Hero Arts Coney Club, which is all about hot dogs. All right. So I just thought these had a great masculine feel and fun, would make great Father's Day cards, great masculine cards. And I just thought it was appropriate. We tend to always on Father's Day take in a ball game, and I think that's why this collection spoke to me, because nothing beats a good ballpark hot dog. All right. So we will be working with the Hero Arts Hot Diggity Dog die set, and coordinating of products. All right. So I'm just going to make sure my comments are going on here. So welcome to those that are joining us. All right. So let's just show you the product. We just got this in maybe a week or maybe 2 weeks ago. And I just thought it was brilliant. I don't know, Hero Art seems to be hitting it out of the park with some really kind of trendy die sets and stamp sets, and just, really fun. All right. So I have prototypes here that I have, but I will get out the catalog to show you the dies themselves so you can see the packaging and all that. There's a whole collection here, and it's called the Coney Club, and just really fun sets. Okay, so just be mindful that the pricing that you see here is US retail. All right, but is a full collection with dies and stamp sets. All right, so now everything has to do with dogs or hot dogs. All right, so we have the squeeze bottle die set. All right, so that's the one here, and I just love it. I love the sizing of this. So if you are a scrapbooker, this is going to work in your layouts, all right, because of the sizing of this. So that squeeze bottle is going to do your mustard and your ketchup. You are going to have the lid, the nozzle, and then you're going to have the words love you, thanks, and hot dog. All right. And then we have the hot dog stamp and cut. So that is literally the little wiener dogs, all right, with some little punny sayings there with the matching die. All right, so that is the first two. We'll be using the squeeze bottle this evening. All right, and then this is the hot diggity dog set. All right, and I love this because you can make this a hot dog in a bun. You can put it in the little cardboard container. You can make it a sausage on a bun. You've got all the condiments, the ketchup, the mustard, the onions, the diced onions, and such. All right, you even got the little sesame seeds for the bun, which is really, really fun. Then you have the Many Franks stamp set, which is a whole slew of sayings that are just funny little puns to do with this collection. All right, so we'll be using that tonight. And then the cookout layering stencil, which I think is a brilliant stencil. And this one here will do kind of the little kind of plaid marks, but it would also make a really great, fantastic background for masculine cards and all that, because you can make plaid with it. And we're going to be doing it on each of our projects this evening. Sorry, I just have something in my eye. All right, so that is the I think that's the whole collection. All right, so not a big collection. So we're going to be using the squirt bottle or the squeeze bottle. We're going to be using the hot diggity dog die set. We're going to be using the cookout stencil, and there you can see how you can make a really fantastic plaid. It works with this collection because when you do it in red and white, it makes that really great, well, you'll see. But I mean, they've done this to me. It's almost like a Halloween color, but you can see that this will make great plats. All right, so just a really great background stencil. So it's not just, exclusive to this set. You're going to be able to use this over and over and over again. All right, so there's the stencil. And then here is the Mini Frank. Sorry, like I said, I have prototypes here from a Hero Art. So I don't get the exact packaging when they send it to me. But that is what we're going to be using this evening. So my intentions are to show you, different ways on how to use this set in honor of Father's Day. And, like I said, we always go to the ballpark to take in a game. unfortunately, well, we're doing it this Sunday. I'm taking Craig, but my not my dad. My dad, my mother booked. They go camping. They have a trailer, so she booked their trip to leave on Sunday. So I might see him in the morning, but no ball game for dad this year. So, but anyways, we're going still without him. All right, so let's get started. So hello to everyone that is watching live and on the replay. Sherry says, hello, I'll try not to challenge you today. Oh, is that for sure? Like you always do, Sherry. I look forward to your challenges, but um, we'll see. We'll see. So last week's challenge was a good one. I'm actually taking you up on that one. So keep them coming, Sherry. I'm okay with that. Okay, so let's get started. I've already taken the liberty of doing some of the die cutting off screen, just to make things a little bit easier. So we're going to create 2 cards and 1 tag this evening, and we're going to play around with some inking techniques and such, and showing you how that stencil works. So let's just take a look what I have die cut here. So I have used both the squeeze bottle die for this one, as well as the hot diggity dog. All right, so we're going to create a fun little card, and I just love the sizing of these dies because they're big and they're going to take up lots of room on our A2 cards. You could definitely make this into a larger card, and like I said, and if I was smart, I would have done a layout, and maybe I'll do that off screen afterwards, because these dies are big enough that you could actually use them on layout. So if you had, backyard barbecue event that you wanted to showcase your pictures from, family barbecue, barbecue at the park, this is going to work for it. All right. So I just think this is going to be something you use all the time, right? We're always at barbecues. We're always having hamburgers and hot dogs. And so I just think this is really fun. Okay. So I have started with a dark yellow A2 piece of cardstock. All right. So I do want to deepen this up a little bit. So I'm going to do a little bit of inking here. So I'm going to actually kind of do an ink fade from the top to the bottom. All right. So we just want to kind of have a deeper yellow coming in from the top, and then fading to the bottom. All right. So that's easy to do. And for that, I'm going to use fossilized amber because that one's just a little bit darker in terms of yellow. And I'm going to use a big blending brush for this one. So I like doing this. I don't like just plain cardstock in the back. All right. For those that know me, you know that. I always like to have texture of some kind on there. And so no embossing folder on this one, but we're going to use ink to add a little interest to the background. So I've loaded my brush up, and I'm going to start from the top. And I'm going to, actually might go at a diagonal maybe. All right, so you can see that I'm just deepening out, and I'm going to fade that across here so that the darker intensity of the color will be in that kind of top left-hand corner. And every time I do this, I'm going to start in that top left-hand corner and then just bring down my blending brush. All right, working on that diagonal. All right, so now, when I go into creating the hot dog and such, I'm going to talk about all the pieces in the die set because they really have thought of everything. All right, I think I like that. All right. All right, so we've got that diagonal kind of blend, that fade out there. All right, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to clean up my grip mat here with my very dry, oh my goodness, they're super dry. I must have left the lid up. All right. I'll leave that there. All right. The next thing I'm going to do on here, just so that it can dry, is again, I like to add a little bit of splatter. All right. So I'm going to use black splatter for this one here. All right. So you could do white. You could do red. Oh, red one might be fun too. Ooh, now I have two decisions. Did you know it came in red? Let me grab. As you know, I love these Japanese watercolors, and they come in an array of colors. I was going to use black, but maybe I'll use the red just because, everything's red and yellow on these things. All right, can I open this though? Oh no, I can't open it. There we go. All right, black or red, guys, for the splatter. I'm going to leave it up to you. Sherry says, I think a checkerboard embossing folder would go well too. Yes, it would. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use the stencil on here too. While you're choosing what kind of splatter I'm going to do, I'm going to do the stencil. So let's talk about this stencil. So there are two stencils in this set, and basically they're just it makes lines, all right? So this is going to be a multifunctional stencil, all right? You could do lines as a ledger, all right, if you want that in the background. You could, sorry, had a cat hair on there. So you could do it as a ledger. You could use this as journaling lines as well. So, you're going to be able to get use out of this stencil. Now, this stencil is basically, you got two stencils that look exactly the same, but one is offset a little bit, all right? So with any stencil, layering stencil, there will be registration marks in the corners, all right? You would use those registration marks to line up. I usually just eyeball it. So there is number 1 and number 2. Number 1, you will notice that the first line is kind of set down at least a half an inch. And on the second one, it is down maybe a quarter of an inch. All right. So that's how they kind of work together. So you don't have to like measure or anything. So I'm going to start with this one. We're going to do this in fossilized amber. So I'm not going to really use the registration marks. I'm just going to eyeball it. So I want to fit my stencil over my A2 panel, and I am just going to, well, I'm going to center this on. All right. Now, if you wanted to use the registration marks, now I am using it on my grip mat here, but you could definitely have a scratch piece of paper underneath this, and then you just mark your registration marks, and therefore, when you put the second one on there, everything will be perfectly lined up, all right? But I'm just going to eyeball it, all right? So this is a little finicky in terms of the stencil because of the fine lines on here. So you really want to be careful when you are blending your ink over top of this, that you do kind of a light blend over top of it to get those nice crisp lines, all right? So I am using my grip mat here, and that's going to hold my stencil, but I'm going to tape it because I'm afraid of this moving, and because these lines are such fine lines, I don't want it moving. So this is just assurance that it's not going to move. I really probably do not need it, but I'm going to do it anyways. All right, so we're going to go to fossilized amber, and we're just going to do a basic plaid on here. All right, so we're just going to do use this stencil here. All right, and then we're going to rotate it 90 degrees. All right, so we're not going to do a double line or anything. We're just going to keep it simple. Okay, we're just going to have a crisscross pattern. All right, so let me grab my ink. All right, so again, you want to go lightly. I'm going to start off the stencil, and then in a rotating motion, I'm going to bring it across, and I'm going to go both ways. All right, I'm going to go left and then right, and I'm rotating in both ways so that I'm going to hit every little edge of that. All right, so I've done that, and then I'm just going to keep on doing that and going across. These are just beautiful fine lines. So you really want to take your time doing this so that you don't distort those lines. Like I said, it's a little finicky. The first time you play with this stencil, it will be a little finicky, but then it'll be fine. All right, so we're going to take that off. And I just have fine lines on there, right? Just enough little interest in the background. All right, so let me just bring that up. All right, so there's that. You can see how you can make lined paper. All right, so you could give it a really kind of distressed look. for anyone that does journaling and such. That's going to be an awesome stencil. All right, so now I'm going to take this and now we're going to flip it the other way. All right, so again, I'm going to just center it on here, making sure things are straight. And again, I'm just going to push that down on my grip mat, and I have the tape there for extra security. All right, so we're going to do the same thing. Now I'm going to bring my blending brush up and down. And this is going to give it that plaid. The perfect plaid. All right. And now the big reveal. And no one answered about the red or the black splatter. Oh, look at that. All right, loving that. Really nice texture in the background. Love it. All right, well, now we're going to splatter. And I'm going to clean my stencil first because I know I'm going to need that. And we're going to change colors next time. Or maybe we'll do yellow and red. I don't know. Anyways, I'm going to clean this regardless. Sherry, I just noticed your comment about the waffle flour French fry dye. Yes, I didn't even think of that. And I think I own that too. It's buried away in one of my boxes, but I think I do unless it's at the store. But that would work really, really well as well. Good idea. Okay, Kathy says red splatter. Red splatter it is. All right, red splatter, white shirt. Great, Kathy. Thank you. I guess it wouldn't matter if it was black too. All right. So I'm just going to spritz my red watercolor here, and then I'm going to grab my paintbrush. That looks like the red one. I have a paintbrush dedicated to all my watercolors. It's this way I don't have to clean them. All right. So I'm just going to load up my brush with that watercolor. I have my fan on in the room here, so that kind of dried. Yeah, Kathy. Uh-oh, she says. Okay, here I go. I'm standing back and splattering. Okay. It's a murder scene now. All right, so we're going to let that dry. That's enough. What I love about this watercolor too is that when it dries, and if you haven't watered it down too much, it will have a little gloss to it. All right, so it just adds a nice little texture. All right, so we started with a yellow cardstock. We did an ink blend on there. We used the stencil, and now we splattered. That is our background. All right, so we're going to let that dry. So I'm just going to put that in a really safe spot. And now we're going to put together our little elements here. All right. So let's talk about the squeeze bottle first. All right. So it's not very difficult to put together. You have your base piece, you have your little lid, and then you have the little cap. All right. So what I've done with this is for the mustard and the ketchup bottle, I have cut that out of a red and a yellow. And then for the lids, I'm just going to grab my tweezers here. For the lid or the cap, I did it in a darker tone. All right. So for the red, I went one tone darker, and same with the yellow. All right. And then for the little nozzle, I went back to the original color. So we're just getting a variation of color on this. And this is really easy to layer together. You just layer the nozzle where the lid is. There is a little, let me just show you here. Hopefully the camera can pick up. There'll be a little indented line there. All right. So you can just line it up really, really easy. So I'm just going to grab my glue. And I'm going to put some glue right in that area. I'm going to grab my little lid here and then just line it to those embossed or debossed lines. All right. And you know what? I'm going to do a little ink blend on these as well, I think, just to create a little bit of shading. So let me get it together and then we'll do a little bit of shading on here. Ink is a wonderful thing. It can add a lot of lovely little texture, and it doesn't like require a lot of effort. All right. Mustard bottle complete. I like these because it's not difficult to put together. It's big items. You know, sometimes those spellbinders dies, there's so many different little pieces. All right, so ketchup and mustard is done. Let's do a little ink blend on them. All right, so I'm gonna go in with my larger one, and I'm gonna go in on, I'm going upside down here, kind of from the bottom, which is, it will be the left-hand side, but I'm doing it upside down, so I'm actually coloring. And I didn't put any more ink on my brush. That's still from doing the stencil work. So more on the bottom and kind of on what will be the left-hand side. All right, and we've created some nice shading on there. All right, so it gives that illusion that there is like it's domed. All right, not sure if the camera's really picking that up, but there, I have done that. All right, now we're going to do the red, and for that one I'm going to use lumberjack plaid. I'm just going to pick up, this one is juicy, so, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to start, I flipped it upside down just so that it's a little bit easier to do without getting that nozzle in the way, or the top. And again, I'm going to concentrate that color on the what will be the left-hand side and the bottom. All right, and that's just enough to give it a little shading. I don't think the camera's picking up because it's very subtle, but it's there. All right, I'm going to see if I can deepen that up a little bit more. I always get concerned. I don't know if you can hear, but there's a helicopter going by. And I always get very concerned because we do live close to the lake. We're a block from the lake. And usually when you hear a helicopter, it's not a good thing. Let's hope it's nothing. All right, so there are my bottles. All right, so I love them, a little bit of shading. So those are done, easy peasy. All right, so we're just going to put them to the side. And now let's talk about the hot diggity dog one. All right. So this one, like I said, is pretty jam-packed. All right. So you are going to get the wiener. All right. And then these two little jelly bean shapes are actually the bun. This is the back side of the bun, and this is the front side of the bun. And it looks kind of ridiculous when you cut it out. I mean, this is what they look like, and it doesn't look like anything. You're like, oh my gosh, like, but when you put it together, it really creates this fantastic hot dog or sausage on a bun. All right, so those are those pieces. This is the little kind of takeout box type of thing, and I'll show you how that goes together on our next project. All right, then we have the squiggles. So there's a squiggle there designated for ketchup. There's a squiggle designated for mustard. You could vice versa them. All right, then you have the all the little fun stuff. All right, so this little guy here, those are the sesame seeds. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, they are small. They really, really are, and you'll see that on one of our next projects. But they do really make the bun. If you wanted a sesame covered bun, it's kind of cool that they included it. This here are little squares are like diced onions. And then this one here, I call this, I don't know what these are really are, but they could be slivered onions, they could be fried onions, all right? And then you have a big mass of them and more separate ones, all right? So you have options. Now, this here, this die here, um, oh my gosh, Sherry, I just saw your comment. That would be brilliant. I'm gonna see if I have red and yellow. Oh, I think, oh, that's going to be brilliant. See, that's why I need you watching all the time, all the great ideas you provide. So if anyone else, sauerkraut. All right, Erin, you are absolutely amazing. Yes, that would work for sauerkraut if you're doing sausage on a bun. See, this is why I love doing these, because you guys help me out with, you know, figuring out what all the little pieces are. This piece here are the grill marks for your hot dog. Brilliant, right? Okay, so those are all the pieces. And then I gotta get my noodle drops, otherwise I'll forget. I'm pretty sure I have red and yellow. I do. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So excited. All right. Okay, now to make the hot dog, you will need the back bun and you will need the front bun. All right. Then you're gonna need the hot dog, but I did it twice. All right. So I cut one in this kind of terracotta color, and then I put the grill marks dye over top of it so that they would cut out. Then I cut a darker I think this is cinnamon from Spellbinders, so that when I piece these together, now we have the hot dog with the grill marks on there. Isn't that awesome? Oh my God, these things just make me laugh. All right, then I have mustard and ketchup because this is a hot dog. Now, I typically only have mustard and onions on my hot dog, but we are doing mustard and ketchup on this. All right, so let's do a little bit of shading on this. I am so excited about that Nouveau drop, so I'm gonna, oh, so excited. Okay, so let's start with the bun. We want to just give it a little bit of shading here. So I'm gonna do the kind of the bottoms of each. All right, so for that, I'm gonna use tea dye. All right. Tea dye is not a super dark brown. And I'm just going to kind of just want to bring that color up from the bottom of that bun. All right, and we're going to do both. You're not going to see too much of this backside one, but you will get just a little hint of it. All right, so if you're going to do it on both. All right, so there are my buns. All right, and now the hot dog. Now we don't have to do anything with the base one because that's just what's showing through. But on this one here, I'm going to go with Rusty Hinge. And we're going to just add a little bit again from the bottom. Okay. Now this is a little bit tone on tone, so I'm just going to go over it a few times. Again, we just want a little bit of shading there. Oh, Sherry, I don't think that was a challenge. I think it was just a great addition. That's all. All right. So now I have all my pieces. Let's put this all together. Okay, so I'm going to start with my little grilled hot dog piece here. And we're just going to line this up and just put it over top. Got a little bit of excess glue going on there. All right, so there is that. Now we're going to go ahead and create this. So this now is going to get layered onto here, the back bun, and then the front bun is going, and there you go. There's your hot dog, all right? The jelly bean shapes that the buns look like, that actually creates this lovely little hot dog. I love it. So, let's go ahead and glue that. So I'm just going to put a little line of glue at the base of this bun. And then let's place this on. And we're just getting a little bit of that shading of that ink peeking through. All right, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put a line of glue here. And then we can attach our bun. And there is our lovely hot dog. Super cute. All right, there we go. All right, so now let's put our squiggles on. I'm wondering. I was going to. All right. They will only fit one way, so. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and glue them on, and then I'm gonna Nouveau drops. All right. So actually, no, we're going to glue everything together, and then we'll put the Nouveau drops on at the very end. All right. So one of the squiggles is a little bit longer, or yeah, longer than the other one. You can layer them however you want, but they will only kind of fit one way on the hot dog. All right, it does kind of follow the curvature. Oh my God, this is so cute. I'm not a big fan of hot dogs. Honestly, I think I only have it when we go to a ball game, but they taste so good when you're at a ball game. Just seems right to do. All right, there is my hot dog. Oh my gosh, so cute. All right, and we've got the ketchup bottle, the mustard bottle, and now let's go ahead and put this together. All right, so this looks like it is dry. However, because it is red, and we all know that red is a problem child in the family, I'm just going to double zap it just to make sure that it is completely dry and not fooling me. All right. Okay. So now we are going to kind of put the hot dog here, and I'm going to have the ketchup and the mustard coming in at an angle. We're going to be trimming these off. All right. And then I do have, I must, I must admit, your bun of a kind. All right. So I'm going to kind of move this guy up a little bit. And then I'm going to have our little saying down here. All right. So I'm going to get everything kind of in place. Then we're going to glue everything or foam adhesive it. And then I'm going to go ahead and trim off the excess. All right. So my ketchup and mustard bottles, I'm going to glue down flat. All right. So let's go one here. And then the mustard bottle. I'm covering up most of my splatters, but that's okay. They're still there in the background. All right, so there's that. My hot dog, I am going to pop up. Okay, so we're going to have it at a bit of an angle here, kind of underneath the nozzles of our squeeze bottles. Perfect. All right, and then let's do our little thing. So I pre-stamped these, and I just used the same color red cardstock, and I used the stamp set, which is called, again, Mini Franks, that has all those fabulous little sayings on there that are all little puns. And I love it because it does work with the ketchup bottle and the mustard bottle as well as the hot dog. Let's catch up soon. Frankly, you're great. Have a wonderful day. We condiment each other. So you can see it's just, it's fun. All right, and then, so I just stamped it and then cut it into strips, and I just used black VersaFine Clear ink. And I think I'm gonna pop these up as well. Just gonna grab my strips. All right, I'm going to start with the second half of the saying, you're one of a kind, all right? Because I want that kind of positioned in the bottom here, and I want to make sure that I have enough room for it. So we're going to put that on there, using those grid marks as reference points to get things straight. And then I'm going to grab the top one. I mustard mitt, and we're going to then put it kind of on the just above this. I'm keeping all my spacing the same, left to right, and the spacing in between the elements. All right. So there is that. Now we're going to trim off the excess. So I'm just going to flip this around, and just with my scissors, you could use your paper trimmer as well. I'm just going to slide my scissors and cut along the straight edge. Right. And now we have, look how fun that is. Oh my gosh, super fun. All right, now the Nuvo drops. All right, so here's for you, Sherry. All right, so I have yellow, and I believe this is called mustard. Yeah, this one's called mustard. Now, I know everyone's going to be asking about these colors, and I don't think we have yellow in stock. I know we have the red in stock, but I know the yellow has been on back order for a while. So anyways, all right, so let's hope. I haven't used these. Woo! My camera fell over, guys. 1 second. Ay, ay, ay. And of course, now it's wedged under my table. Okay. Woo! I did a little rearranging, and obviously my camera was at an angle. Okay, I think we're good. Sorry about that. I think I need an extra weight on there. Okay. Woo! Ooh, now my camera is all out of whack here. Okay, we're just going to leave it as is. All right, so let's go ahead and add our Nuvos. All right, so if you've never played with Nuvo drops, they're fun. Oh my gosh, Sherry, this is a brilliant idea. Ah! All right, I will try to get the Nuvo drops in for the yellow. I know they've been out of stock, but I will try my best. All right, so Nuvo drops is kind of a dimensional, glossy. You know, we usually make our little pearls from this, but we're actually going to make our mustard squiggles. So this is going to give it dimension. So I'm just dispensing it, and I'll bring it up to the camera. And I'm just using the nozzle to move it around so it's kind of coating that cardstock squiggle. And you could omit the cardstock squiggle. You could just do your own squiggle with the Nuvo drops. But mine is pretty thick, so all right, let me bring this up. And that's going to hold the dimension as well, all right? It's not going to flatten out. So look at that. It looks like real mustard. Oh my gosh. All right, so you can see the dimension there. Love it. Okay, let's do the red now. My red, this one I might go with my other red. Just because this one is almost empty. This one I'm worried is a little too dark. Nope, I have to do the other one. This one's a little too pinky burgundy. Okay. This one, I don't know if it's going to come out nicely. Oh, brilliant idea. Erin says you can use Nuvo drops for the sesame seeds too. Honestly, it's probably easier to do that. And you'll understand why. Okay, I'm going to try. I might have to just finish this off camera because it's really, really slow coming out. All right, I'm going to do this off camera, the red, but I'll take pictures of it. You know that. But there we go. First card with our little hot diggity dog. Super cute. All right, just a lot of fun. All right, we're going to let that dry. I'm going to put that somewhere safe and I'll finish that red Nuvo drop on there. I seem to have a little clog. I'm gonna put this upside down because it's almost empty as well. So we'll get it all worked out. Okay, so that is the Hot Diggity Dog, and just fun, fun, fun. All right, that's what Janet said. Fun card. All right, let's go on to our next one. Just keep on using this. I'm just gonna plug in my phone because that seemed to plugged when the camera fell. All right. Whew. It's still not the perfect angle, but that's okay. All right, what do I got next? Okay, we're gonna do a little tag this time. All right, again, you could do this on a card front. I just thought I just wanted to show you something different. So I just cut out a white tag using that Uniquely Creative. I know I keep on using it, but I love this tag die. This is called the Stitched Essential Tag Die. Love the sizing of it, love the stitching on it. All right, so that's from Uniquely Creative. And we're going to do a little bit of stenciling just on the bottom here, just to give it some interest. All right. So we're just going to kind of do a little bit of red pattern on the bottom. So this one, I'm going to use both stencils. Okay. And I'm going to bring it up. Stick that on. I'm going to bring it up a few inches. So maybe right about, oop, I had it straight and then it moved. Okay. So I'm going to let the grip mat do its job, but I'm just going to tape for extra security. All right. So this time we're going to do it in red, and I'm going to show you how this, I guess you can see it there, how you can do the double lines. All right. So I'm going to use both stencils this time. All right. So we're going to go back with lumberjack red on this one, and I'm going to pick up that, and we're going to do the same way we did on the first card. All right. I'm going to start on one side in rotating motions. And before I go any further, I want to mask off that top part. So I just have a masking tape here that I'm just going to use. I don't want red to go off my stencil. All right. I feel better now. All right. So back and forth, rotating clockwise and counterclockwise. All right. So there is our first set of lines. Okay. We're going to move to stencil number 2. And again, if I was using the registration marks, I would just line them up. But because I'm not using the registration marks, I am just going to line this as best I can straight. Now, mine are not going to be perfectly spaced. I don't care. It's okay. All right, so stick on the grip mat, extra security, and now we're going to do this one here. Oh, almost needed my, almost forgot my masking tape. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so that's going to give us our horizontal lines. All right, so there are our horizontal lines. Again, this is such a great, if you were doing a ledger of kind or you needed journaling lines, I just love this. All right, so now I'm going to do our vertical lines. So I'm going to line this up. Again, I'm going to press that down. I'm going to use, this is back, I went back to my first stencil. And I have a red fingerprint on the tag already. All right, and then I'm going to use my masking tape. And I'm just lining that up along the top of the vertical or the horizontal lines. This way we're going to have a nice crisp pattern. All right. So now we're going to move up and down along these lines. All right. Let's take that off. And look at that. All right, do we want to do the secondary line? Sure, why not? All right, so we're going to do the second line now, the vertical line. So I'm going to go back to this one here and stick that down. And let's not forget our masking. And same thing. Okay, done. The big reveal. Ah, love it. All right, so there is that. And it's that like red and white, like kind of food packaging kind of look. All right. And again, I don't have things perfect on there, so it's not a perfect plaid, but I love it. All right. So you can see, you know, how effective this stencil will be over and over again. You can do it in different ways to create different plaids and such. I just think it's a really, really fantastic stencil. All right, let me clean up the mess I have created. Because we use distress inks on here, very easy to clean the stencil just with water, baby wipe. You could just literally run this under the faucet and the ink will run right off, and then you could allow it to dry. But I have to clean this off because we're going to need it for our next project. So I feel like I'm going to have really red fingers now. Okay, we're just going to let that dry. I do. I have red fingers. Okay, so like I said, we're going to just make this into a fun tag. I have to clean up all the red fingerprints off of my tag. And I'm just looking for my sand eraser to do that. And it's not where it should be, everyone. I'm very, very sad. Uh-oh. My sand eraser is missing. All right. I'm going to use a white eraser and hope for the best. Sometimes that helps. No. Okay, we're just going to go with it. All right. So all right, let's go ahead. We're going to do mustard bottle on this. I think, yeah, we're going to do mustard bottle. We're going to make this into a hot dog Brendo style. All right, so we're going to have mustard and onions on there. All right, so let's go ahead and do our inking on each of these ones. Again, you don't need to do this inking. I just like the look of it. All right, so let's build them first and then we'll do the inking. All right, so the squeeze bottle, again, is easy to put together. It's got the lid, which lines up with the deboss line. Oops. And then the little cap here. And I did in the same yellows as the first one. All right, I'm gonna let that glue dry. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna start inking my buttons. All right, same thing, I'm gonna use tea dye, do a quick little blend from the bottom up. Did I use vellum for the onions? You could, and that would give it that kind of translucency. And what I did to create the onions, and I'll show you mine in a second. My stool is rolling away on me. Is I took a piece of white cardstock and did a light yellow blend on there, and then I die cut the onions. So you're going to get that kind of mixture of yellow and the white paper coming through, and that's how I did the onions for this card, the little diced onions that we'll be using. But vellum would be a great one too. You could color the backside of the vellum just to give it a bit of a yellow tinge. You could use inks or you could use your alcohol ink markers. All right, so again, I'm going to just shade the hot dog as well. Again, I'm always doing the bottom and working it up. So this one's going to be a hot dog. In our next project, I'm going to make it into a sausage. All right, so we're going to change the toppings. We're going to put it on a sesame bun. All right. Okay, let's put this together now. So we're going to start with the back bun, put a bead of glue at the bottom, and then add the hot dog, the wiener. And then a little bit of glue at the bottom of our hot dog there, and then we'll put the other bun on here. All right, so the hot dog is created. And we might as well go ahead and put the mustard on, the mustard squiggle. And I think might do the Nuvo on this one too, but I'll do it off camera. I really like the effect of it. All right, so this one just has mustard. This is how I like to have my hot dogs. Mustard and onions. Sometimes some hot peppers. Okay, so here are the onions. All right, they're little diced onions here. Again, I took just a scrap piece of white cardstock. I just took whatever ink was on my blending brush, my yellow blending brush, and I just rubbed it on there. It wasn't like super bold or anything, and then I cut them out. So we're going to get a mixture of that white and yellow. And to put these on, you are just going to put little dots of glue. All right. All right, hopefully that was not too many. And I'm just going to use my jewel picker upper now and just place the onions and let them be. They look like little tiny ice cubes. I've overlapped them, some of them as well. Might as well use them all up. And we have one more. Let's put that right over here. All right. There is my hot dog with lots of onions on it. Squares could be relish as well. Yes, you know what? I never even thought about that. It could be. All right. So lots of different ways that you can use those toppings and how you interpret them. All right. So there is our hot dog. All right. I'm going to let that dry. We're going to go back to inking our mustard bottle. And I'm going to do it the same way. All right. Mustard bottle done. All right. Let's put this together now. All right. So I did do a sentiment here. I have "It's Your Birthday." All right. That's from the Many Franks stamp set. And then I also did the word hot dog from the squeeze bottle set. All right. So this actually gives the illusion that it was squeezed out from the bottle. All right. So I'm going to kind of put this, we're going to put, didn't leave much room for this, but I did cut it out of black and yellow, and I think I'm going to offset it to give it that shadowy look. All right. So so we're going to do the yellow on top. So when you offset something, you kind of line it up and then just shift it one way. All right. So I kind of shifted it to the right and down. All right. To give it that shadowy look. All right. Go to the camera, focus on that. There we go. All right. Just a subtle. All right. So you want to do the right and then to the bottom, same way for the word dog. All right. Okay, let's go ahead and put this together. Again, I'm going to, maybe I should, hot dog. Let's make sure everything fits first. So we want to make sure that this is coming at an angle here. All right, I think we're good. Bringing that hot dog down just a little bit. Okay, so the mustard bottle is on. We're going to now pop our hot dog up. All right, want to make sure I have enough room for my sentiment at the bottom, which I do. I've hid my little red marks, my inky marks. That's good. All right, hot dog is on there. And now let's go ahead and put our little hot dog saying. And I'm going to put this at an angle. All right, and then the sentiment strip, I'm just going to trim, and we're going to pop that up with some foam adhesive. Let's grab a strip. And I'm going to center this just under that hot dog. And let's trim this off now. All right, there we go. Now, this could go in a gift bag. Nice little red ribbon on this would be fabulous. You could put this on the front of a card as well. But how cute is that? All right, hot dog, it's your birthday. All right, and I'm gonna go in with the the yellow Nuvo after the fact. I'm going to do it on the mustard on the hot dog as well as the words there, just to give it some dimension because I just love that idea. All right, maybe a few little black gems on there to finish that up. But there is that one, our little tag. All right, we got one more to do. Let me just tidy up a little bit here. And the next one is going to be with the, we're going to make it into kind of a sausage on a bun. And this is where the sesame seeds are on. Now, I've already done the sesame seeds on there, just because I wanted to have them done. I'm going to hair. There we go. Okay. So for this here, we're going to make it kind of into a postage stamp shape. And I'm going to show you how to create the little box that comes in, the little takeout food box. And like I said, we're going to make this into a sausage. All right. So the little sesame seeds, all right, look how cute they are. They really do look like real sesame seeds on there. They are tiny, all right? They are. I cut it out of twice. You cut quite a few at once. I cut it out of twice out of just kind of a pattern paper that was brown, because it had a kind of a different tones of brown on it. And there are my sesame seeds. How cute are they, right? Okay, so let's, I'm going to do my stenciling in a bit. Let's do our inking on our buns. So we're going to do the same thing. I'm going to use that tea dye. I like that color on there. Now I'm going to be a little bit careful because my sesame seeds are on there already. I don't want to go so hard that I rub them off or anything. So again, I'm just going from the bottom. And we'll do the back one. All right, so those are done. All right, and then for the sausage here, I did a deeper color. All right, so this one here is this cinnamon cardstock from Spellbinders. It's just a darker color. We are going to do a little bit of shading on this one as well. All right, so we're going to do Rusty Hinge again. Now this is going to be really tone on tone, but great idea. Aaron says I could use a Nuvo drips, Nuvo in between the word dog in a bottle to look like the mustard dripped. That is a great idea. I might do that. Really kind of deepening this shading. All right, so there is my sausage. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and put this together. All right, so again, I'm going to start with that back bun, put that little line of glue at the base of it, and our sausage. And then our top bun with the sesame seeds. Love it. Oh my gosh. Those sesame seeds really do add to it, honestly. All right, so there is that. All right, so then I did what I thought were onions, but we're going to call it sauerkraut now, because, you know, sauerkraut on a sausage is yummy. All right, so but I'm going to deepen this up a little bit because I just cut it out of white cardstock. So I'm just going to grab my yellow, and then just kind of really just kind of tap a little bit. We don't want it completely yellow. We just want it, you know, sauerkraut color. All right, so we have darker tones, lighter tones, and then we can just stick this on. All right, and we look at our sauerkraut is on our sausage. All right, so I love that. Great idea. Sauerkraut. I love it. And then if you wanted to make this dimensional, just because we're on that whole Nuvo drops kick and all that, you could use glossy accents on this to create some texture on there to give it that kind of shininess of that juicy sauerkraut, right? So you could definitely do that. All right, so there is our sausage with the sauerkraut on it. Love it. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I'm gonna put that to the side, and now we're gonna do the little kind of takeout box that this would sit in. So with the die, there are two pieces. There is the front and the back, all right? So this larger piece is the back, and then this front piece was going to go on the front. And when you put it together, it obviously looks like a box, and then this is going to kind of sit inside of it, all right? So it has that kind of takeout box, all right, which is really, really cool. But we do want to color the front of this with that lovely stencil. So I'm just going to move the pieces out of the way. And somehow I got orange all over it, but all right. So we're going to go ahead and grab the stencils and let's go to it. All right. I am going to do this in red again. So I'm going to be gentle with this because we just have that little piece there. The more you work with the stencil, the easier it becomes. It's always that first time you use something, it's just like a little bit awkward. All right, so there's the first one. And I'm just going to do the rotation right now on this one, and then we'll move to our second one. So I just took that first stencil and rotated it 90 degrees. All right, so that's going to give us just that kind of grid look. All right, but we're going to do the double up lines. So I'm going to move to my second. And this one here, I'm going to see if I can center it. That looks good. Lovely. And then I'm going to rotate it. And now we're going to do the other vertical line. This is actually quite easy when you're doing just a little die cut. All right. And there's our little fun little takeout, like little box. I love it. I made those lines pretty even on that one. Okay, so now when we put this together, this is going to go in the front, and now we've got this cute little takeout box, right? Super sweet. Let's go ahead and put our sausage on a bun in there. All right, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue kind of on the base of this and stick this on the base. I'm going to put it at a bit of an angle. It's covering up some of my sesame seeds. I'm going to bring that up just a little bit. All right, now I think I'm going to pop this piece up just to give it some dimension. And this just aligns with the base of that. All right, so now we've got our little sausage on a bun with the sauerkraut in its little box. All right. Okay, let's put that to the side. And now let's kind of build our base here. I feel like I want to do a little bit of lines in the back here, so I'm going to grab that stencil again, because why not? I'm going to clean it up first, because I want to use yellow. Okay, so let's do some vertical or horizontal lines in the background. And we're going to go in with fossilized amber again. And this is just to create some interest in the background. All right, you don't need to do this. And I'm not too concerned if it's even. I just want some lines in the background. Perfect. All right. I am going to grab my ink and I'm just going to deepen the edges. All right, so we've got a nice, fun little background there. All right, now what I wanted to do is kind of have this kind of like look like it was sitting like maybe on a picnic table. So I had this is from All in Create. It was just a scrap of paper I had, but it had a kind of a wood grain look. So I just kind of used the same die that I cut this one because this has a stitching detail around it. I just cut a little rectangle of it and then use the die so that when I glue this on, that stitching goes around all around the perimeter of that. All right, so it's all going to be matchy match. All right. So we're just going to line that up. So we're just kind of have like we're grounding that sausage now, all right, on a bun. All right, it's sitting on something. It's just not floating in space. All right. So I just took wood grain because then it mimics kind of like a picnic table or, you know, tabletop. All right, so there is that. And now we can place this on it, and then it's just kind of not just floating in the air. All right. Now, before I do that, I think we should have a sentiment on there because I did not cut one out. So let's go ahead and stamp a sentiment on here. So we're going to keep it in that top section. So I'm going to grab my stamp platform and get that lined up. And oh, what do we want? I'm going to do your bun of a kind again. You're the bun for me. I'm going to do that one. There's too many choices. All right, I'm going to stand up for this one to get this lined up. So I'm going to keep it to the top. I'm going to use those lines to get this lined up. I'm going to center it left to right. That looks good. Okay, we're going to go for it. Perfect. All right, put that back so we don't lose it. Okay, let's put our little sausage on now. Glue that on. And again, we want it to have it kind of sitting on that kind of tabletop. And I'm going to do it from left to right, center it left to right. And you know what? I'm wondering. I'm going to cut this love you. Just, and it fits right in there like it was meant to be. I did not plan that, everyone. It just works in there. And I'm going to cut that out of, this is going to go on white, but now I'm thinking I'm going to do it on black. Let's do it black. So I'm going to cut this out of black. Move these guys out of the way. Do this really quickly because we're just about done. All right, let's go ahead and glue these on. Da, da, da. So I had this as on a white background, but I'm definitely gonna put it on a black background. There are birds like fighting outside my window. There's like fluttering action going on. Oh, that's funny. All right, there's the love you. And so instead of this white postage, I'm going to do it in black. I think that'll look really effective. And then that one is done. All right, I'm going to do glossy accents on the sauerkraut. I love this. This is so much fun. All right, so there is the Hot Diggity Dog collection from Spellbinders. I'm just going to clean up a little bit. I'm going to bring all my samples back out here. I'm going to show you that Nouveau drop, the mustard that we did on the first one, and how it dried. All right, so there is that. We're going to put that on the black. And then we have our little tag. And oh, that mustard looks awesome. All right, look at that. It looks like real mustard. Oh my gosh, so much fun. Great idea, Sherry. Thank you for everyone for all the ideas. But there they are. I will take, I'm going to finish these off, obviously, and then I will take pictures and I will post them on our Facebook page so that you can see the finished results. But I think they turned out really awesome and just really great, masculine cards. I think we always struggle, for that, for those type of cards. And I think these are just a fun. All right. So there they are. There is our fun little food cards, our hot dog cards from Hero Arts. All right, everyone, that is it for me this evening. Thanks for joining me live and watching on the replay. Until next time, have yourself a wonderful evening, and we'll see you all next week on What's Up Wednesday. Bye.